Welcome to the Advanced Features tutorial for BandScore. If you have not seen it yet, please first have a look on the Quick Start tutorial, as this covers the main features. This tutorial shows you BandScore on macOS, and the iPad version looks nearly the same. On iPhone, the editors are not available due to the restricted screen size. First, let's have a look on the recording mixer. With the recording mixer, you can mix your recording with the playback audio. To use it, you must have at least one recording for the song, otherwise you will not see the navigation button. On the top left of the mixer page, you find the player for the mix. Below, you find the settings for the playback audio files which are assigned to the song. On the top right, you find the export options. And below, the settings for the recording. For the recording, you can apply effects like compressor, EQ, or reverb. Click on Preset in the top bar to open a sidebar and manage the mixer presets. Song presets are available for this song only, and global presets are available to all songs. To add a new preset, use the plus button. To update an existing preset, click the disc button. The note symbol button is to toggle between song and global preset. The Recordings button in the top menu shows a list of the available recording files. The currently selected recording is shown in yellow and unavailable recordings are shown in red color. By clicking on Score, you navigate to the Score Edit page. The Score Editor is only available in advanced mode. On the Edit page, you find the main controls in the top menu. The play bar is always shown on Mac and display can be toggled on iPad. Then you see an overview of all the measures in the score. Measures numbers with marker are highlighted. Below, you have the editing area displaying a small number of measures. The number of measures displayed can be adjusted here in the zoom bar. On iPad, the zoom bar display can be switched on or off with a button in the top menu. The bottom of the screen displays the Details panel. The drop-down menu besides the song name offers these functions. Switch the song part. Import markers from another part. Import settings from another song. Sync length with other song parts. PDF export for score. The top menu controls on the right are deselect, undo and redo, toggle single or multi-item selection, select options, audio playback options, display options, enable or disable raster display, drag options, the save button, and the sidebar open or close button. You can click on an item in the editing area to select it. The first tab in the Details panel now shows details for the selection. In the Annotations tab, you can add or modify annotations for the selection. Next, you find the tempo bar where you can set the tempo for the measure or for the full part. If you want to add a note or a chord, you go to the Add tab. Adding is done via templates, so you first create a template and then add it to the score. If you want to add measures, you can do this by selecting a measure and use the controls in the Add tab or Selected tab. In the Part tab, you have Settings and Actions, which apply for the full part. And in the last tab, you can select another part for display. If we select a chord and navigate to the Selection tab in the Details panel, we see that this is an automatically identified chord with a fixed chord step, root note, and chord kind. If the automatic identification does not work for you, you can also change this to a defined chord. Then you specify the chord name using these controls. The third option is an individual name, which is available after selecting Define Chord first. The individual chord name is a free text and is saved along with the chord notes. Next time you add or identify a chord with the same notes, this name will be used. You can see these chord names in the specific settings section. Now let's look at the transpose functionality. To transpose the full part, navigate to the Part panel, set the details and click on Transpose Part. If you want to transpose only some notes or chords, then select them first. If you want to select multiple items, enable the multi-selection here and eventually use a selection option. In the Details tab, you now can set the transpose details and perform the transposition. Quantization for the position or length is done similar. In the Score Editor, you can also play the score along to the assigned audio files when available. On iPad, you must hit the play symbol in the top menu bar to see the player controls. Similar to the play mode, we have controls for metronome play, score play using the built-in MIDI player, audio playback, volume, speed, and pitch controls. On the right, the first play button only plays the visible measures. The second play button continues to play until the end of the score. Our next task is to align a playback audio file to the score. Here we see a classic rock song with the original audio attached to the song. Playback audio files can be assigned in the song details. In a lot of songs, the tempo varies throughout the song. Setting one tempo for the full song will not work for us if we want to have an exact play position indication in the play mode. BandScore offers some tools to solve this. First, you can adjust the audio track by cutting, delaying, and inserting silence. Second, you can adjust the tempo on each measure to match the playback audio. BandScore can analyze the audio for transients, which you can then use for the alignment. Let's see how this works. On the first look, we see that this playback audio has a delayed start. So the first task is to align the real start in the audio with beat 1 of the score. Make sure you have the waveform drag mode set to audio adjustment free drag. Then drag the waveform to the left to align the transient, which is usually the highest point in the wave, with beat 1. Now an audio adjustment has been created, and in the detail panel we see that it's a cut adjustment. The next thing we recognize is that the audio does not align exactly with the start of the next measure. It looks like the playback audio is a bit faster than the score tempo. To fix this discrepancy, we need to adjust the tempo for this measure. You can do this by first changing the mode to tempo-free drag, then drag the wave to match beat 1 with the next measure. In the Tempo tab, we see that for measure 1 an auto tempo has been set. It matters where you place the cursor for dragging. If you would place the cursor below the second measure, the tempo adjustment will be done for measure 2. BandScore also offers transient analysis, which you can kick off in the audio selection pop-up. To align to the transients, switch the mode to tempo, use transient controls. Alignment is still done only for beat 1 of every measure, so you can click on the arrow buttons to align the transients with the measure. You find additional functionality in the audio playback pop-up. For example, you can apply a filter to the waveform. BandScore offers also a specific editor for lyrics. If you use the lyric editor on the iPad, turn it into portrait mode to keep a good overview when the on-screen keyboard is displayed. The lyric editor sheet shows the score sections with text fields for the lyrics below them. On the top, the drop-down menu besides the song name provides these options. Switch song part. Convert measure directives to lyrics. Extract lyrics from audio, which requires iOS or macOS 26. Import lyrics from other part. Import LRC file. Import lyric with paste text. Export LRC file. And export PDF. On the right top menu you find Undo and Redo. Options for score display. Grid resolution setting. Setting for line count. Options for move and split. Clear all the lyrics. Trim all the lyrics to remove any white space and beginning or end. The Save button. And the List button to open the sidebar. Similar to the score editor, you can play the score using these controls. Then you have some controls to adjust the text field height. Changing a lyric text is straightforward. Just click into the text field and edit the text. When editing a field, you have additional functions available above the onboard keyboard or at the bottom of the screen. The first one is to deselect or stop editing. Next is to clear the current field. Insert will insert a blank field before the currently selected text field. Split will divide the text at the current cursor position based on the setting from the top menu. The Join button will join with the text from the very next field. And then you find a series of shift buttons to move the text between fields or measures. With the chord list editor, you can create score parts by specifying the chords only. These chords are shown on the lead sheet, for example. You can use the chord list editor in text or in grid mode. The text mode is best if you want to paste existing chord lists. Please follow the format instructions on the top. The grid mode is your best choice if you want to define a chord list from scratch. On the right, you can define the blocks with the detailed chords for each measure and beat. So you would define a block for the intro, another for the verse, and then the chorus. On the left, you then arrange the blocks into the full list where the blocks can be repeated. To update the score part, click on the Update part or Save button on the top right. The next feature we will cover is the band network. With this, you can connect to other devices running BandScore in the near environment. To use it, you need to be in the same room or the same local network. These other devices are called connected peers. You need to have advanced mode selected, and this feature must be enabled in the settings. Here you can also set the band name and your name. Moving back to the song list, you now see a status bar on the bottom of the screen. The band network is active if this label is green. You can temporarily disable it by tapping on the label. The red color now indicates that no communication is done with the connected peers. When you have a song selected, you can transfer it to the connected peers. Playback audio files will not be transferred. With the message button, you can send a message to all connected peers. And the reset button performs a full reset, which is helpful in case of problems with the connection. The info button opens a pop-up and shows status information and control options. Now let's see how the band network works in the play mode. When you open the play mode, all the connected peers get this command and should switch to the play mode as well. In the top menu, you see a small icon which indicates the status. A red C means that you are in control mode for the current song, so you can start and stop the song, and this is sent to the connected peers. A green R means that you are in receive mode, so your actions will not be sent to the connected peers. As the controller, when you start playing, a synchronization is done to start all the connected peers at the same time. If you press stop, the connected peers will receive this and should stop as well. That's it for now. Thanks for listening and have fun with BandScore. And if you like our app, please write a review.